Legacy Wealth Management was founded out of a desire to provide the best client service experience in the financial industry. After working for years in the traditional corporate investment world, the founders of Legacy Wealth Management knew that there was a better way. With so many companies pushing their clients to call centers and increasing account minimums, they wanted to deliver a client experience second to none. They believe in education, communication, and a deep commitment to a personal relationship with each client. Call Legacy Wealth Management today or go online to lynchburglegacy.com to improve the relationship with your finances. Legacy Wealth Management Group. It's more than a plan for your money, it's a plan for your life.
Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM, you're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels of Lynchburg.
So we're going to change things up a little bit on you guys today. Normally we have multiple guests that join us in the studio, and today we only have one guest coming in around 12:30-ish.
Okay.
And so we thought that it would be a good idea, something we haven't done in a while. We may have done it. It's been a while. If we've done it at all since Mike's been here.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. So, you guys tune in and listen to us weekly, we hope. And I just thought it'd be a great idea if at the beginning of the show, we did a kind of meet your podcast hosts and tell a little bit about ourselves. And then one of the things I hear a lot about when I'm doing networking or going to different seminars is learning about like somebody's why. Like, why are they in the business they're in? Why do they do what they do? And I really thought it would be a good idea today to kind of focus on that. So you can learn more about myself and Mike and even Woody over here behind the panel.
Hey.
Our secret weapon.
Our secret weapon. Just so you guys know, like we're here, we do this show every week, but why do we do it? And why do we do the other things we do? You work for Visiting Angels, Mike? Who are you over there behind the mic?
I'm nobody.
Mike
I'm
behind
nobody.
the mic.
Mike behind the mic. That's
I need another one of those. Thanks. Anyway, so I've been thinking about that. That was I've been working that one up all day.
I got you.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that would be kind of a good thing to do the first half of the show today.
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing to do. So you may go first.
Sir? Yeah, actually I would. I think it would be great if we learned more about Mike because, you just came on and started working on the podcast with us about 4 months.
In March?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months ago.
Whenever the ratings just shot through.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at the ratings
so Heather's now
graph,
leaving and you'll learn nothing about her.
when it just spikes straight up.
It went straight up, just vertical skyscraper.
It did.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I had kind of an interesting path to get to Visiting Angels. Before I was in Visiting Angels, I was a florist. And before that, I worked in, for a nonprofit for a year and then for in electronics for most of my career. And if you told me 10 years ago I'd be working in healthcare, I probably would have laughed at you and said, there's no way. That is not what I want to do. But, a lot of people might not know that I'm originally from England. And when we came over from England and many, many years ago, I don't want to tell Heather's age, so I won't go too deeply into that. But we came to the United States and, we were a very young family. I was a year old. My sister was 4. My parents were, young. And we ended up getting chickenpox because the strain is different. And I swear this is going to Visiting Angels eventually. So just hold on to me there.
Okay.
So we had this lady came and she took my sister and I out of the house and told my parents, fend for yourself. I'll drop off food every day. And she kind of took care of us through the chicken pox and dropped food off for my parents, things like that. And we kind of had instant grandparents, right? So fast forward, we moved to Virginia. This was in Ohio. We moved to Virginia in 1984 and they moved to Florida and did the whole retirement thing. And my grandfather had a stroke, total left side paralysis, and my grandmother took care of him, for 10, 15 years, completely by herself, really, all the way up until he went into a facility. And every time we go visit, she's what I call a vegetable soup grandma. So it doesn't matter what time you get to her house. If you've been traveling, there was a magical sickness back then that, if you traveled and you didn't eat vegetable soup when you got where you were going, then you were going to get sick. So she would it didn't matter if we got there at 4:00 in the morning, 4:00 in the afternoon. You're going to sit down, you're going to eat some soup. And when we would get there, this was, of course, was in the day before cell phones, things like that. So we would call and say, hey, we're leaving, 3:00 in the morning, headed down. Takes about 12 hours. And she would be worried about, what time we were getting there the whole time. We'd get there. Every time she sat down, she would fall asleep, like pretty much as soon as she sat down. She was just exhausted. And we're like, well, she was up all night trying to figure out where we were and, the anxiety waiting for us to come, all that stuff. And what we didn't know is it was like that all the time because she was getting up and turning him every 2 hours, things like that. And at that time, our family believed, you stay at home as long as you can and then you go to a facility. And there is so much more in between. I used to be a florist. My dad and I actually talked about opening a florist in partnership with the one I worked at and having 2 locations so that we had more buying power, wholesale prices, all that thing. And he started looking around and found Visiting Angels. And he said, I don't know much about flowers, but I know old people. And I would tell him that's because you are one. So he kind of talked me into the Visiting Angels and into going into this. And, I had my doubts. I kind of told my wife, hey, I'll give you 6 months. I'll give the 6 months because if I don't join and do this with them, they're going to hire somebody to run the office. I was afraid somebody would try and take advantage or something like that, or not run it right. Or, all those fears that come, you get kind of protective over your parents. And so I went for the training. Visiting Angels is a nationwide company based out of Pennsylvania. We own the Lynchburg office here and that covers the Central Virginia area. And I went for the training. And when I came home, I told my wife, I said, I don't care if I touch another flower. Like, this is what I was made to do. And we just kind of took off from there. We opened in January of 2017. And I think we've won something like 37 awards since we opened. So if you've ever been to my tiny, tiny office, there is a wall that is just full of awards.
Is my award still over there?
No, I gave that back.
Okay, thanks.
That actually came back to you as a Christmas present.
Oh, that's right. You did.
So,
you wrapped it up and gave it back to me.
Yeah. So
super nice. Super nice of you.
Yeah. So, we were an award-winning agency in home care here in Central Virginia. And I may have referenced the tiny, tiny office that we're in now. And we have some exciting news that I might as well announce today that we're going to be moving in November. So we found a new office space and we're just working out all the details and things like that. So
that's going to be exciting.
If my current landlord is listening, I'm sending that email to you tomorrow. So hopefully you don't find out this way, but we'll find out if he listens or not, I guess. But
that's and it's a really good move for you guys too.
Yeah, I think it is. It's going to give us more space. We'll actually be able to host coffee talks, things like that.
Yeah.
In the senior networking group as well. So we'll be able to have meetings there. So it gives us a lot more space. We're roadside. We're directly next door to the new neurological center that Centra's going to build.
Yeah.
Where Holy Cross used to be. So we are going to be right across the street from that, the little side street and in a little shopping center there.
Yeah.
We'll have a little over twice the space and it's actually square space. So it's not, we have a weird little triangle office right now. There's a lot of wasted space there, but and my office staff is really excited because there's an actual kitchen. There's like a place that we can go and sit and eat. So no more lunch at our desks.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
that's good.
But yeah, it's going to be exciting stuff. We're going to have a resource center for all the healthcare people. They can come and put, brochures and things like that. So when people come in to talk to us about care, if we're not the right fit, we'll be able to refer them to what is the right fit.
I think what's great about your story is, and it kind of lines up a little bit like mine, where you didn't really plan to be where you were,
right?
But it's kind of learning how you got there,
right?
You learned along the way, and I think that's it's pretty cool.
And it's not like I went into this and was like, oh, healthcare is what I want to do. It was kind of like, we can do this. I think this will be good. And then once I got into it, I was like, man, this is what I should have done from day one. So, I love it. It's very rewarding work. And it's, we feel like we've been pretty successful in this area and, winning awards, making great partnerships, through assisted living facilities and health and rehab centers, and even our competition, which I call co-opetition. We work very closely with them because our main goal is we just want to serve our community. So
yeah. Well, what do you want?
Oh my gosh, is it my turn already?
I mean, I'm just saying.
You notice she's making herself go last.
So when I go, which business do you want me to talk about?
How many businesses do you have? I mean,
62 and a half.
No, I'll say Watts Creative Studios started probably, I would say, I think around 9 or 10 years ago. And really it started with doing just side video projects for nonprofits. And then I kept getting requests and I was working at a nonprofit and I had to do a project for, I think, the community market downtown, and they needed like a business, official business, insurance. And so I just I was like, well, this is a good opportunity. Let me go ahead and make it official. And then I just started doing video work. And then I found at the time that there was a lot of small businesses that wanted to get their message out that could not afford to, and that they wanted to be on TV. They wanted a commercial, but at the time, video production in Lynchburg was super expensive. It still kind of is, but really expensive. And then the commercials that TV stations were doing were not. They just didn't click with me. And so yeah, I don't know. I've always had a drive for small businesses, nonprofits, and having fun, and not just being kind of stuck in the normal marketing routine, and actually for organizations to let their personalities through, because oftentimes they really are, they're really hesitant to do that if they're fun or whatever, and then some of them have messages that they need to get out that they have not been able to get out. So that's where it kind of started. Then it's just kind of morphed into doing some fun stuff and making cartoon otters and doing podcasts.
Otters.
And what other job could you have, Woody, where you get to put Brandon Brown in a Sasquatch suit and film a commercial for heating and air? I mean,
I really feel, and I mean this genuinely, when like it comes up at family reunions or whatever, when how's work going, or what do you do for work? I feel guilty. I really do. I feel bad.
I go to work and have fun every day.
I have fun every day. I have the best job. I get to work with a ton of people. I get to work with great people that do great things. Like, a lot of small business owners, a lot of organization, a lot of directors that are helping other businesses. So really, every person that I get to help, they're helping other people. And it's just awesome. Like I'm blessed way more than I deserve. I get to have fun. I get people trust me with sometimes putting this, that in their messaging, or even just letting me help them get their message out. Oftentimes they have it and they know what they want to tell. They just don't, getting it to the point of getting it out there. And then a couple, like doing services that in the past or that normally are really expensive, are really, especially in a local area that normal businesses couldn't do, like even building apps or doing videos or doing a podcast. But years ago, that just wasn't doable on budgets.
Right.
And I'm able to kind of come in and kind of rethink the approach and help on a local level, and I love it. So it's like I'm all over the place, but it's it's fun getting to do marketing, and then podcasting kind of rolls into that because it again, it's a platform for you to get your message out. It's a platform for me to market for you. And again, traditional media in the past, it's been super expensive. You go to a radio station and you ask, I want a show and advertising. And before you know it, that's it for the month. That's all you have. And with this, we're able to provide a platform. We're able to get a message out. People have responded by downloading the app and subscribing. So yeah, I'm super blessed. I get to do a lot of fun.
And you talked about, loving working with local businesses. Yes. And of course, so I'll just take this podcast, for example, because we're talking about this podcast, but look how many members we've had on this podcast with 150 shows or something, whatever it is. I'm making the number up. Well, I know it's more than 100.
Well, and even one of our members spun off onto her own show.
Yeah. You got Love and Lace. And she actually changed the name of her business to Love and Lace, which is a great name for a bridal shop.
It really is.
Right there in the Forest Kroger Shopping Center. So,
and I got to thinking the other day, specifically this podcast, like how many business owners have come through the doors, recorded on episodes. I mean,
right.
You maybe at least two per episode. And then the caliber of guests that you've had on, and like celebrities.
Oh, thanks, Woody.
Like
you mean me, right?
It's like you listen. Yes, of course. Mike behind the mic. You listen to these shows, and I'm not knocking any other local I'm not doing that at all. But
take that branch line.
I'm just saying, you turn on the dial and you ride through Lynchburg. You don't hear, really don't hear what you hear on our local shows here.
Well,
you really don't.
And the fact that Mike and I are up for best, DJ.
Best DJ, and go to Lynchburg Living, right? and vote for us.
Yeah,
today.
But we're up against actual radio hosts who have been there for years. Right.
This is like a job adjacent hobby for me.
During your lunch break.
This is marketing. I'm totally working if my office is listening.
Yes.
But I mean, it is. It's I started kind of filling in for Heather when she was out. And then it was like, this is a great opportunity for people to get to know Visiting Angels, and also for me to get to know other local businesses. And, there's quite a few of the people who've been on the podcast that we use in our business. Yeah. So like it's created partnerships in the community. And, hopefully, people who listen to this podcast can build those same relationships and get those great local businesses. And we took something from a national carrier and brought it local. And I have to say, like, my bill with the national carrier was like $200 some a month. I just saw the bill yesterday for the internet work out of Roanoke. Yeah. It's $35. Like that's almost $170 I was saving just from using someone local and supporting, putting money back into our community instead of, sending it off to Seattle or something, and it doesn't benefit this area at all.
Yeah. And we've talked, the guests that have been on the show, most of them, the majority of them are small business owners. So if they were not given this platform for your show and billboards and the resources that the CVABC provides, then they would not have gotten their message out.
Right.
I mean, really, like there've been really, I mean, we're talking business owners that literally have been just weeks open that come in here and are able to share the story that really, if you sit down, like they would never be able to afford TV or radio, or at least not yet, maybe down the road. But like this really does help them. This really helps every level of business. And I have, when I listen to the episodes, I will vet now, like, if somebody on Facebook asks for, hey, do you know anybody that does this? Well, I've got like 3 of each category now that I know personally that have been in here, their message, their story, what type of person they are, and that you can actually promote them.
And that's why a lot of our businesses are members that join, or so between members that join or members that refer us because they're members. That's one of the big things, is because they say, if you don't have a marketing budget starting out, that's why you should join us, the Central Virginia Business Coalition, because we can be your marketing budget for a little bit and just help you kind of get that jump start. Yeah. So that's super cool. And I think, we're going to have a chat about where my book is. I see Brandon now has a mascot and a book, and we're going to chat about that. Yeah. I'm not going to bring it up anymore today.
I'd be down for that.
I need a
Can you come up with a story about how Grover is late?
No, you should do one about how Grover visits small business.
Small business. Oh, look at that.
See, he goes shopping downtown.
Tell you what, I'm gonna I'll think of a
be
character.
fabulous.
I'm on that. I like that idea.
He needs to go shopping.
Yeah.
And I'll be the local, like, hey, where are you going?
Hey.
Let me introduce you to this beautiful town of ours.
Let me connect you with this over here.
Fabulous, Grover.
Well, I did feature Centerfest in the book.
You did. Remember? You did. I do give you that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I like that idea, though. Let me, I'll work on that. Yeah. I like that.
So, okay. Well, I mean, you've grown a whole lot. And I think both of you, so I'm going to ask you this question before we get into like me.
Uh-oh.
Were either of you like nervous to go out on your own and kind of start your own business than, just going and working for somebody?
I balanced for, I would say, 3 years at least. I was working full time, and I was doing my business, on the side. And then it eventually grew to where I was doing half and half, and then I was so afraid. And then I had a talk with a pastor friend, and he just told me one day, he was like, listen, like, what would you do if you had no fear of failing? Like, what would you do? And I told him, I was like, I would just do my thing. And he was like, then that's what you do. And then I did it. And it's like, I have been so blessed ever since. And I love my jobs before, and they've set me up for this. But honestly, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be sitting in Bedford with an otter on the wall, talking to, like, I would have never, ever told you that was the course. But now it's like, you meet wonderful people like you all, really. And then like moving to Bedford, I don't want to say catapult, that's not the right word, but it really just kind of like took my business and just put it right here, like client base.
You took that step out of your comfort zone and decided, all right, let's just go for it. And when it did, it just took off for you.
It just took off. Yeah. And then you meet people like you all, and then you start networking. And then that's the part that really, because I don't do that. I'm an introvert, but like when that part was introduced and we started doing the shows, and then people started coming in and meeting everybody else, that it just took it to another level. And that's why I sing the praises of CVABC, because it's honestly like the events, networking, and I know that you all do a show here, but like the caliber of show is important to me too. And, and providing that platform, y'all do a wonderful job. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll be excited to see you at Coffee Talk this Friday. So you can, we're gonna take you out of your comfort zone and get you. Look, I believe it or not, I am an introvert. I'm happy to hide behind this microphone. I played drums since I was 6. I'm happy to hide behind a drum set. Like, I'm happy places I can hide, but sometimes you gotta step out there and do it. It's gonna take your business to that next level. What are you telling you? We'll have gold microphones next week.
That's a great idea. A little gold microphone trophy.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I feel like my path to where I am now has been very all over the place.
Kind of like mine.
Yeah. Well, when I talk to people about, I didn't realize how many places, honestly, I have worked in my life. And honestly, I don't feel like I'm that old. So, I started when I was younger, I worked at FunQuest forever. So I'm just going to say that was probably like such a fun job. But, my original goal when I went off to college was to be a biologist. Like I love biology. I was going to go to school for it. I wanted to either teach it or, do something in that field. And then, basically I became a statistic. I'm not, I don't shy away from it. I got pregnant and ended up getting married, and I left, dropped out of college and raised my child and got jobs. And, that's where I am from now. And I'm not ashamed of it because it got me to where I am today. And most of y'all know, I mean, my kids are fabulous. And if I did anything right, I did that. So, but I attribute where I am now actually to the News in Advance, because I started working there in the classified section where people used to actually call in for classifieds. You had to answer the phone. Now it's all done online. Oh yeah, no. I mean, I was answering phone calls like crazy, and you type the classifieds in and it'd be like pages of them. So about a year or so after I did that, I started to they have those special sections in the newspaper. It used to be like where you could congratulate the football teams, or they did the 50, the senior edition or whatever. Yeah. So instead of the advertising agent, like the advertising department downstairs used to, sell actual ads, they let classified start selling the special sections, and the way they did it was they had the special section and they had our names up on a board, and the more ads you sold, you actually made commission. And then if you hit a certain number, you got a bonus. And so that's when I realized, I'm super competitive as it is, but that's when I realized, yes. So that's when I realized that I truly enjoyed sales. I had no problem cold calling. I had no problem asking people for anything. It's just not in my vocabulary. If you, for me, if you say no, it's no. But if I knew I was selling something good, or, it was worthwhile to them, I had no problem making that ask. So, I worked there for a couple of years, and, eventually I moved on. And as y'all know, I've mentioned how I used to work for a cemetery, like actually selling holes in the ground. Yeah. Selling holes in the ground to people. And then I got, my first shot at, really working in the field that I'm currently in when I became the membership director at the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. Right. And I worked there for 5 years in membership, and their membership numbers went up tremendously in that time because I realized at that point that not only was I good, I don't consider what I did then and what I do now really sales, but I found that I was more built for relationships and building relationships with business. And the more I worked and the more I met these different small business owners, the more I realized just how much I loved learning more about what was going on in our community, and how what I did, through benefits or just through my own like thoughts and processes, like how that helped to affect small business owners to grow, and having someone come up to me and go, thank you so much for all the work you put into, my business. I found that I just loved it. And so, I worked there, like I said, for about 5 years doing that, and ended up taking a small year hiatus, went and worked for a magazine for a little bit more back in that salesy range, found out that wasn't for me. I wasn't a big fan. Right. And then I got the opportunity to come over and become the executive director at, what used to be the Retail Merchants Association, and now the Central Virginia Business Coalition. And what I loved even more so with what I do now versus what I did at the chamber is that I didn't feel as constricted. There were things like there that I just felt like you couldn't do because chambers are state, they're national. They follow different guidelines and, different things.
And they have hard boundaries, like Bedford kind of is Bedford County, Lynchburg is Lynchburg,
right?
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And businesses can kind of go in and out, but it's more like, when you do this, there's a charge for it, or I just felt like where I was at now, I have more of an opportunity to best serve small business owners. I'm allowed to use like my creative thoughts and feelings and talent to push ideas out and see how they're received. I'm able to do things like this, this podcast and have businesses on. I'm able to, hold community events that
like Battle of the Bands,
that we just had and Centerfest. All those things to help promote business. And I just, I love what I do, truly. I always say it's kind of like you were talking about, you feel, when people ask you about your job.
This is my job.
I feel guilty.
You feel guilty. But I feel like I don't really, there's not a day I don't really want to go to work. Yeah. I mean, there's a few. I've had a few. I mean, but they're very few and far between. It's just like I get up and I'm excited about who I may meet that day, who I might talk to, what creative ideas we can come up together, because it's not even just about us. I mean, we have businesses that call me constantly and say, "Hey, I want to run this by you. What's the chance we can do this together? How can you help me do this?" And sometimes there's not much in it for us. Like, the CVBC may not be making $1 off of it. And we may not be putting much into it more than just marketing it or talking about it or volunteering at it. But knowing that I can help another small business grow is really, what I enjoy.
And you've got several examples of that too, because you did like Christmas at the Ridge, where like you had different vendors could come in. Yep. You had a store at the mall, and it was staff.
We
things
did
like that. You've got the Dream On Summit coming up that the CVABC is partnering and marketing with, but that pretty much Minnie's Travel Boutique is doing all the work to get all that done and things like that.
Yep. We've helped with the Big Otter Mill Festival. We helped with that a couple of years ago.
And of course, Centerfest and, different things like that as well. But.
Yeah. So there's lots of things that just make what I do every day is pretty much different because I never know who's going to walk through my door. I can have a day planned and I can promise you it's getting screwed up.
Right.
Like somebody's going to walk through my door I wasn't expecting, and then they want to talk for like 50 hours. And, it's just, it's a lot of stress sometimes too, but the benefit outweighs that every single time.
Yep.
So, but that's kind of where I got to, and how I got there was, my life path didn't go the way I thought it was going to be, but it took me on a completely different one that was it's much more.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I like
that's me.
So do we want to run our commercial to split the show up?
Let's do it. And then we'll be back with our guest, because speaking of stress, she can help you out with that.
There we go. Are you or a loved one looking for top-notch care and support in Bedford, Virginia? Look no further than Oakwood Health and Rehab, where compassionate care meets excellence in rehabilitation. At Oakwood Health and Rehab, we understand that each individual's journey to recovery is unique. That's why we offer personalized care plans tailored to your specific needs. Our team of experienced and dedicated healthcare professionals are here to provide round-the-clock care and support, ensuring your comfort and well-being every step of the way. Our state-of-the-art facility is designed to create a warm and welcoming atmosphere, making you feel right at home. Our cozy rooms, beautiful gardens, and engaging common areas provide the perfect setting for your recovery journey. Oakwood Health and Rehab offers a wide range of rehabilitation services, including physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, all aimed at helping you regain your independence and quality of life. Our experienced therapists work closely with you, guiding you through your tailored exercises and activities that promote health and healing. But it's not just about the physical well-being. We believe in nurturing the mind and spirit too. Our enriching recreational programs and social activities ensure that you stay engaged and connected with your fellow residents. Your comfort and satisfaction are our top priorities. That's why our caring staff takes care of everything, from medication management to delicious chef-prepared meals that cater to your dietary preferences. Discover the warmth and support of Oakwood Health and Rehab in Bedford, Virginia. Our team is here to welcome you with open arms and provide the exceptional care you deserve. So don't wait. Call us today at 540-425-7800 to schedule a tour and learn more about how Oakwood Health and Rehab can be your partner on the road to recovery. Oakwood Health and Rehab, neighbors caring for neighbors in Bedford, Virginia. We look forward to caring for you. Wow, that's a great ad. It would
Whoa, that is super
be. It was great. If you're listening to this podcast and you own a business and you want to have your ad there, the options are actually really, really affordable. So
yeah, very affordable.
You'd like to have your commercial recorded by me or, second choice Heather, you can
whatever.
You can contact us at cvabc.org and we can actually let you know about prices on that. It's really affordable.
And you actually have the opportunity to have this studio named after you when we are recording. So while it's Watts Creative Studio now,
we'll be broadcasting from.
It could be the Visiting Angels studio at some point. So we got all kinds of options for you guys to help keep us on the air.
Look at that.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have our guest here today. I know you guys have listened to us talk about how we got here, but one of the things I think all three of us have talked about is the small businesses that we like to support, and we have one of our small business owners on, and smallest.
We have our youngest podcast guest ever.
Yes,
and she is not a fan.
Her name is Rebel, right?
Yes, her name is Rebel.
And
Rebel, did you want to talk?
Can I say hi?
Can you say hello?
Can you say cvabc.org?
.org. Right.
She almost had it.
She did.
Does Rebel do ads too? Can she?
She does a lot of ads. That's
great.
Got into what
we'll hire her.
That's great. That's our mascot. We'll have like a Rebel walking around the streets.
That's it.
So we have with us Danielle with Rustburg Massage and Ashley. And they're going to be talking about their business and the things that are going to be added to their business with Ashley coming in. So welcome.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for having us back.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for coming. And thank you for bringing such a cute little baby with you.
Hi.
I love little babies. So tell us, for anyone who may not have heard, Danielle's been on the show before, but let's talk a little bit about your business first for anyone who may just be joining us and hadn't heard the past episode, and tell us a little bit about, what you do. And then we'll kind of get into all the different details and talk about what Ashley's bringing to the picture.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So I own Rustburg Massage, and we're in Rustburg. We're nice and conveniently located right off of 501 and 24. So we're just a pop away. It's easy to get off the street. You guys want to come by after work when you're stressed out, get that massage before you go home so you can sleep well. We offer nail services as well. We specialize in natural health care. We're looking at everything from the inside the body to the outside of the body, making you healthier, better, working on injuries, working on, maybe you're not sleeping well. And so Ashley's coming on board. She's going to be doing our internal health. Everything starts from the inside out.
Right. What you put in is what you get out.
Yes. And, we want to live long, healthy lives. So I'd love Ashley to introduce herself.
So my name is Ashley Haps. A lot of the people in the area may know me from the Rustburg Farmers Market. I started that up earlier in April, and that's kind of what's been getting my name out there. But I specialize in holistic nutrition. I came into that when alternative care wasn't really affordable for my own daughter. And I wanted to make it affordable for people just like you and me to be able to get alternative care, because I grew up in a family mostly comprised of, the medical community. My mom was a nurse. My dad works on dialysis. My aunts are CNAs and nurse practitioners, and I just wanted to do something that was different. So I started going into nutrition and focusing on food and figuring out how to get moms the biggest bang for their buck.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that is important. I think you're seeing more people nowadays that are realizing that a lot of their health issues are coming from the food they're putting in their body. And, back in the day, you didn't really, that wasn't something you thought about.
Right.
It wasn't because you were eating gluten, or it wasn't because you were lactose intolerant, different things. You ate, you felt sick, you kind of went on about your way, and you did it all over again. And you didn't really think about the reasons why you weren't feeling well, or why you were tired, or those things.
Right.
So I'm seeing more and more people that are looking to kind of go that route. They're looking to see more of like, what are they eating, what are they putting in their body, and it's making them feel better and much healthier lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the clients that I see, they don't really realize that it's not.
Oh, the the train likes to come through every now and then.
That is a loud.
That was a
Well,
loud
they hit the
one.
horn just at the right spot
Wow. There we go.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that.
Making sure everybody's paying attention, right? A lot of the clients that I see don't realize that the supplements that you get from the store are really watered down. So working with people, I've even pulled in some of what we've done with the farmers market and shown, you can go and get a supplement from Tractor Supply for a chicken that has thousands and thousands times more B vitamins than what you would find in the store for you and I. And that has led me to ask people, why wouldn't you go to somebody that specializes in nutrition to learn more about stuff like that? So whenever I take in a client, looking at what you're eating, but also what sort of supplements that you have, a big passion of mine has been, since meeting my husband and moving to Rustburg, is teaching people that your farming is not against you. A lot of the farmers are really trying to educate clients, and that's been the blessing of the farmers market, is I've been able to step in there and kind of take some of the ease off of the farmers and show them that, show clients or customers for the farmers that it's not the farmers that you're going against. It's really just the misinformation that you have to combat.
So when you're talking, I'm going to ask this question. My youngest daughter, she's lactose intolerant, and we've also found recently she has a very significant vitamin D deficiency. What type of foods are good? I know a lot about go out in the sun, get out in the sun, do all those things. We're trying to take the screen time down and do
all the good things.
But what are some foods that are good with vitamin D? I need I'm vitamin B12 deficient, I think. So I'm low in iron. I've just found all this out. Apparently I'm just withering away.
Falling apart.
Yeah.
So
but what are your suggestions for stuff like that?
So actually, I have a freebie up on my website where people can go and see what I get clients started on.
Okay.
Whenever you look at vitamin D, something that people don't know is that you actually have to have vitamin K3 with it to help absorb it. So if you're taking vitamin D and you're not taking vitamin K3 with it, you'll actually be running into wasting your money and not knowing about it, which is a lot of the reason why I...
Well, look at that. I just sent my wife a text. Hey, I need K3.
Yeah. So like I said, on my website, www.happyfamilynutrition.net, if you go to the resources page, there's a free little sample of what I get clients started on to basically help start focusing on getting energy at the cellular level. It's not about getting level from your food. It's about getting it to the cell so your cell can get all of the energy to the organs that need it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And if you want, I've been working with Ashley myself, actually.
Yep.
And in the 3 or 4 days since we meet with our consultation and just her few recommendations, I feel better. I'm more conscious about what I'm putting in my body. That's my biggest problem right now, is just not knowing what to put in my body. There's so much stuff out there, these vitamins, all these minerals. You go see these doctors and they give you this long list of stuff, do this and go home. But nobody ever follows up with you after that. Ashley, she looks at, we have a little journal that she can see what I put in. So I put my food, I scan my labels, and then I tell her how I feel before I eat, how I felt after I eat.
Yeah. So
And she gives you input.
Right. It's a lot of, whenever people sign up with me, they get a free application with me where they can go and put in their water intake and their food intake. And then I can go and say, well, looks like you might need a little bit more water than this. Because, if you're 70% water and you're not drinking water, none of those vitamins that you're taking are going to get to move around. But yeah, that's a great part about doing all of this, is getting to teach people, because at the end of the day, my job is to become obsolete, teach you how to take care of your own family, and then hopefully get a referral to somebody else. So
now, do you work with people that have different types of celiac, or, they may have what are even alpha gal or things like that, to help them kind of find different options that they can use versus what they've been doing, different meal planning or things like that. Do you do that?
I offer meal planning. I even offer just helping people find alternatives for their medicine cabinet. Looking into more of helping the mom is the biggest thing. Like if you look on my website, it says helping moms simplify nutrition so they can spend less time worrying about their family and more time with them. I mean that, it's hard to do things when you don't have a supportive community. And that's what I hope to bring, to the table with my nutrition and with the farmers market. Find a place that is open to helping each other in the community and doing it at a reasonable cost. With my daughter finding alternative medicine, it was like $750 for an appointment with someone that did homeopathy. And I thought, my word, how are average people, blue collar people supposed to afford that?
Not only that, you still have to pay for the food.
Right.
You haven't even made it into the grocery store yet.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, on my website, there's free resources that people can get. I talk about things like the Dirty Dozen list. That's put out by the Environmental Working Group. They do studies on what foods actually have the most pesticide residue. So even if you can't buy organic, I'm giving you the tools to go and find something that is
At least healthier option.
a healthier option.
If not
with
the
less-
healthiest.
Right.
But
with-
a healthier. Yeah.
Right. With less pesticide residue and less herbicides. So just stuff like that.
Okay. And you're a certified holistic nutritionist?
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to work with you, does that mean that they have to be vegan or?
No. It doesn't mean you have to be vegan. I like teaching people that it's basically what works best for your body. And not every single person is going to be the same. You're going to see something like, personally with myself, breastfeeding, my nutritional needs are going to be different based off of what I give my child than what someone who's running, 5 miles every day and working a 12-hour shift, so. Yep.
It's about that non-judgmental, place.
Yeah.
That's all what it's about. Nobody's the same. We're all here to support the community, give healthy alternatives to whatever that is, whether you eat meat, whether you eat only vegetable-based, that's not the problem. The problem is that we're ingesting all this stuff daily, from plastic, from the foods, from the pesticides.
Right.
And it's building up in our bodies and causing problems.
Right.
I think that's one of the things, because I had surgery a few months ago, and you have to be very careful about vitamin deficiency with what with what I had done, and so they have you taking like this. I do like a bariatric fusion vitamin, but I still have to take my vitamin D and my B12,
right?
And because I'm not able to eat as much. I'm trying to eat as much protein as I can, but you're lacking in some of those other areas too. So I think that would be, for someone like myself or that are kind of going through those same sort of things, it would be good to have someone that they could talk to and be like, what should I be eating and how should I be getting the most, my vitamins? Because there's some days I wake and I'm just exhausted. And I do, now that I've seen my iron's low or, different things are going on in my body.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Every person is, if you're feeling fatigue, how many people do you know say, I feel so
so many.
Oh, yeah.
That's because you're nutrient deficient.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Like 80% of the world is like nutrient
So have you heard of America Out Loud? Have you heard of that before?
I have not.
I think I have.
I haven't.
So Dr. Hanalei, Dr. Henry Lee, is actually where I went to school with at the Energetic Health Institute. And he's on America Out Loud a lot, talking about a lot of, current events that are going on with nutrition and things around the world. But that's one of the biggest things that he taught you is that every single client that comes in the door is nutrient deficient. That's what you have to focus on. And so, I don't like to brag or anything, but I do know that whenever people start seeing me, that usually within the first week, they're feeling a lot more energetic and they don't realize how nutrient deficient they are until they start doing that.
I was just getting ready to say, how long does it take normally to start seeing results from, going to see you or, getting those nutrients back in their body?
So now, Dr. Henry would probably be upset if I said that a week, but ideally it's a month. I don't want to give anybody a false promise. It usually is about a month for you to fill all those nutritional deficiencies. But if you think about how a lot of the reason why there are nutritional deficiencies. There's studies showing that the vitamins and minerals in our soils have been depleted from 1950, I believe it was. There's a study, 1950 to the early 2000s, there was a study showing that vitamins and minerals were depleted by 40% in garden vegetables. 40%. And that's just in your own garden. So just imagine how it has to be for, large monocrop agriculture, And again, that's part of the reason why I encourage people to go to the Rustburg Farmers Market, is because you are going to get to look at the farmers and talk to them about how they raise their cattle, how they raise their pork, and, find out if they're using artificial fertilizers, because if they are, then that's why there's that gap there.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of the farmers markets, and I'm actually excited to see how many have started popping up around our area. Because Forest Farmers Market has been there for a while. Of course, the Lynchburg Community Market downtown, and then the Bedford Farmers Market here has grown quite a bit. But now I think there's one in Manita. There's now one in Montvale. In Rustburg. So there's people out there that are going in and actually getting more fresh food and meats and things like that. That's another reason. I'll give a quick shout out to one of our other members, Chapel Creek Farms. We go, there and get they do their own grass-fed, grass-finished beef.
Right.
Those are the type of things. And I will say, and I'm sure you get this a lot, people complain about the fact that, it's more expensive to buy at a farmer's market or through, a business like that. Well, there's a reason for that. And it's because it's fresh. And it's because these farmers they're working, their land, they're bringing it out there. They're doing the packaging. They're doing the
And their kids are too.
Yeah.
My 10-year-old has been out driving the tractor. We homeschool. I've got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they are out there farming out there with us,
Yeah. This isn't just like mass produced somewhere and just shipped in. So, not only are you eating healthier, you're supporting a local family and a local business. And that's where I think, for me, I'll pay the extra couple of dollars. It's not that big of a deal.
And if it's better and it's fresher and it tastes better, you're less likely to just put it in what I call vegetable hospice. That's the vegetable drawer in your refrigerator.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
And just wait a week and throw it out. Like, you're actually going to eat it because you're going to look forward to it. It's not going to be like, I really don't want to eat this green pepper that doesn't look great. And,
yeah, I'm not going to lie. I went to a grocery store yesterday. I'm not going to name where it was, but I was looking at grapefruit because I love grapefruit. And they had this bag of pink grapefruit. Well, one of the bags there had completely rotted.
Oh.
And there were fruit flies everywhere. And I was like, ew. And so I didn't even want to buy it from any of the bags surrounding it because I don't know where all that came from. But that's what I'm talking about. When you go to a farmer's market, it's fresh. It's been brought to you. They've either had something to do with it that day or the day before. You're not getting week old groceries that have been hanging out.
For that matter. I mean, your eggs are how old when you buy them? Over 90 days before you buy them. They've been shipped around, moved. Everything is nutrient deficient. So in the long run, you're going to end up paying more. You're going to pay for it in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for your health.
Well, and that's what you'll see is when you start spending more money on your food, you're going to be spending a lot less money on other things. You can be spending money on getting massage and getting food, and then you're not going to the doctor as much because
You're not paying those pesky copays.
Right. Yep.
So I'm just gonna switch back over real quick, Danielle, to the massage part. I wanted to kind of say, I want people to know, what are the benefits? Because, the benefits of the nutrition, you got the healthy, it's making your body more, more healthier.
More energized.
That's the word.
Yep.
I say more healthier. That's not even the correct way to say it, but healthier. And so how does massage help with that as well? I know we've talked about it before. I love a good massage, but I am also one of those people that when somebody starts massage, they feel the knots, they feel the tension. And after I have that massage, I feel so much better. But how does that help you?
Well, we work on a cellular level too. We help those toxins move out of the body. We help new circulation coming into the body. Those knots, those muscles, that tension is coming from stress, daily stress, how you're sleeping, what you're eating. All that stuff affects the body. So we help the body to heal. We help the body to move those toxins out of the muscles. We improve circulation. We can help with pain. Think about it. If you're not in pain, are you sleeping better? Are you enjoying your life? Are you outside doing the things that you want to do? Are you going on vacation? When you're on your vacation, are you sitting on the beach complaining about being sore, or are you out doing stuff? All that stuff contributes to a healthy life, mentally, emotionally, physically.
Right.
We work on all sorts of levels and we help that body, and I'm helping you live longer. I'm helping you do the things you want to do. So you're happy and healthier. You're not just going home every night, sitting on your heat pack, or taking that hot shower and taking all those pills and going to bed.
Are you at home with me? Like, that's what I do every night. I'm always like my heating pad.
That's every mom.
Yeah.
And so we want you to be a healthier, happier person. We're, with Rustburg Massage, we are a big supporter of the community, like Ashley's doing. I want to make this affordable. I also want to become obsolete in your life. The only time I want to see you in the future is for relaxation. Just that added boost to your life. We want you to be happier because happy people refer other people, and if everybody's happy and the community is bustling and working well and we're together as a unit, we're just all around better.
Right. Well, and speaking of being a part of the community, I do want to, throw this out as well, is that, Danielle Rustburg Massage is a community sponsor of the Central Virginia Business Coalition. So, thank you for that, because you're able, I tell a lot of people with annual sponsorships, it's about what you get for your business, but it's also about, because of you, we're able to do more for the smaller businesses that are in our community. And that's, something that I like to throw out there, as well as just a quick thank you for that. Speaking about how you are there for the community.
Well, we appreciate you guys too. It's great to have a community that boosts up small businesses. For us, it's so hard to start as a small business.
Yeah. Well, I love a good massage. I'm not gonna lie. And I keep saying I just don't, my problem is, and I bet you hear this a lot, is I just don't take time for myself.
Yes.
And that's the biggest problem. Like I know I need a massage. I want to go get them. I'd like to get once a week or every other week, but I just don't take the time for me because I'm constantly either working or, my kids taking precedence between running them to gymnastics or volleyball or here or there. So that's definitely something I feel like people should do more of, is taking time for themselves.
Yes.
So I need to come out there.
And we have online booking now, which I like too.
Oh, good.
My clients are really enjoying the online booking. You can go on there, you can see when you're available, you can make it available. And I recommend for people that are going to go for massage, put it on the calendar for the next 6 months because it reminds you and keeps you accountable. That's the hardest part for most people, is that they're like, oh, I will. I promise. I'm going to book in 2 weeks. I'm going to book in a month. And guess what? 6 months goes by.
Yep.
And we just don't even realize it. So you need to prioritize yourself. I do that same thing with my calendar. I've now carved out days where I go, today I went and got a manicure before I came here because this is my morning for me in the business. I put these things on the calendar for 6 months, and if you have to move the day, slightly, that's good. But it's better that and being accountable for yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I need to start doing that.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking like, look at that.
I'm going to book my calendar now.
I don't think I've ever had a massage.
Oh, no, I have.
You are missing out.
Other than like a 5-minute thing, like at the health fair, we had like a 5-minute thing.
Now, see, and I'm one of those people that I don't like those little fluffy massages where they're just like, no, I need like the deep tissue. I want it to hurt. It's weird because people are like, am I hurting you? I'm like, keep going. Cause I know eventually it hurts, but it feels good at the same time. And I just know I'm going to feel much better once it's done.
Okay. Well, I challenge you to get a massage.
Yeah.
Right.
Take some time for you. Go and do something for yourself. That's the most important person, because at the end of the day, you can't help anybody else if that cup is running low.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
No.
Yep. And you don't realize what kind of, like you were saying, what kind of toxins are in your body that a good massage can help release. And I know even for me, because I've had some chiropractic, but a lot of times he has told me multiple times I should have a massage first because it loosens me up because I'm so tight. He can't even adjust me properly because I should be getting massages as well. So a lot of things kind of interlock, like you were talking about with the nutrition to the massage to the chiropractic care to all these different things.
And my office is set up that I have a lot of husbands and wives that come in together. I've got a nice area for the husbands. They sit, they watch a show, they grab a cup of coffee or a drink out of the fridge, and then the wife has her massage, and then we switch and we do the turn. We do the same thing. We encourage moms to bring kids in. I know it's not ideal, but I have the flexibility in my office to be able to schedule things for people for not a conventional time. Most people can't do these things because they have the kids or somebody in tow.
Awesome.
We're building this around families and the community.
Awesome.
Well, thank you both for coming in today. I appreciate it. And it's always interesting to learn more about how you can help like your health and your well-being. And so make sure, can I get both of you again to tell us like your, how people can get a hold of you, your website?
So rustburgmassage.com is the main easiest way to get hold of me. You can book through that. Our cell phone number is 434-665-0771. Text is the easiest way. Shoot me a text, tell me what you need, and we work you in. My schedule is very flexible. I do have set hours on my website, but I do accommodate people outside of those hours because I know life does not afford a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So the greatest way to get a hold of me, you can go on my website, www.happyfamilynutrition.net. I have availabilities for free consultations for 15 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and setting up an initial consultation, as well as getting a freebie on what you can do a month ahead of time before seeing me. So that way you're not just starting off with a blank space.
Perfect. I think, Mike, you and I should schedule massages, not at the same time.
Yeah,
but,
that'd be weird.
We should schedule them and go get them and then talk about them later. Like, I'm going to start doing more, like live massage.
Can we do the podcast from Rustburg? No.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
We're going to take
all you
Woody
hear
all
for
over
the whole
Central
hour
Virginia.
would be me going, oh, that's great. So anyway, so did you want to a follow-up with their...
Yeah, so how long have you been part of the CVABC, and what do you think is the biggest benefit to your business since you've joined?
I have been a member for almost a year. I've been a sponsor the whole of this year, and I have loved everything about it. The biggest benefit for me is meeting people in similar spaces that I'm in. As a small business, it kind of can feel lonely. You know, you see all these big businesses that they're just, able to pay for all this marketing and do all this stuff. And as a small business, we just don't have that luxury because, my money goes straight into my bank account.
Right.
So everything I spend outside of that, can cause stress for the business. But you guys have backed us 110%. The events, the marketing, the billboard options, this podcast. I mean, there are just so many options, and it's not costing me a fortune.
Right. And it's, with our guest last week said, it's kind of a one-stop shop. Like you were able to get all those things and you didn't have to go so we're moving our office. So I'm like, who do I go to for this? Who do I go to for that? Like,
And the other best part too is if you guys can't do it, there's somebody in the group that can.
Right.
Yes.
And if we can't do it, we can point you in the right direction with, over 500 members of businesses who go from very small to, you've got like Fosterfield. It's a bigger business. They're all across Virginia and probably all up everywhere else. But, you've got a wide variety of sizes of business and people that can mentor you and guide you along the way too.
Yes,
That's great.
It's wonderful. One-stop shop for everything.
So before we finish up today, I want to very quickly mention Bedford Centerfest coming up September 23rd. Make sure you put that on your calendar. If you have not signed up for a booth space, I am sorry to say that we have closed the registration for that. So we have over 130 vendors this year. Some great food trucks will be there. We have a kids area. We have a stage with some musical talent coming out. Thank you to all of those who did join us for Battle of the Bands this past week. That was a huge success.
Oh, it was such a great event.
So many people there, 4 fabulous bands. It was great weather. I'm hoping for the same kind of weather for Centerfest. That would be awesome. So yeah, make sure you mark that and make sure you mark September the 8th for the second of our second Friday cruise-ins here in downtown Bedford. I feel like we're going to have some more cars this time. We'll have Porterhouse Catering there, fulfilling your barbecue needs at that event as well. And if you do come and want to bring, we're doing a canned food drive for this month. So
awesome. And wherever you're listening to this podcast at, make sure you leave us a review and let us know how we're doing. And go to our Facebook page, Talk Local to Me, and leave us a review there and say where you listen, because I kind of like to know where people are listening from.
So a big thank you one more time to Rustburg Massage. And if you want to get some more information about them as well, you can go to cvabc.org.
She stole it from me, cvabc.org.
I did it.